If you've set any goals for 2025, you're probably making the same mistake that I made for 5 years straight. And I'm not talking about having unrealistic goals or not a clear enough plan or not enough discipline. This is something way more subtle, and it's the reason that 88% of people fail at their goals before February. See, we've all been taught the wrong thing when it comes to setting and achieving our goals, and I am a huge victim of this. I've spent thousands of dollars on courses, I've read all the books, I've done all the exercises, only for it to be December and me to look back and wonder what the hell happened. I thought I did everything right and I haven't made enough progress. And if you feel that way or you're worried that's gonna happen to you, this video is for you. Because in the next 10 minutes, I'm about to flip the system on its head and I'm gonna show you the strategic domino method that makes achieving your goals almost inevitable, the delete, defer, do system that'll eliminate all mental exhaustion, and the reset protocol that'll ensure that you never, ever feel like you have to start over ever again. So let's start off with the biggest mistake most of us make. And I call this the New Year's identity crisis. Because here's what's happening when you set goals. You're basically signing up for a 360 personality transplant. You have your business and career goals, your relationship goals, your health goals, your financial goals, your spiritual goals. And you having all of these goals that you want to accomplish all at once is like you trying to drive 5 cars in different directions. You have your entrepreneurial car that's headed towards your business goals. Meanwhile, your gym car is veering off into the fitness parking lot. Your relationship car is running out of fuel. Your spiritual car is just parked right there. And then your work-life balance car and your professional development car are now crashing into each other. You see, it's a hot mess when you try to become 5 different people at once. And that's what happens when you have all of these goals that you want to accomplish right now. And that leads into the first thing we're talking about, which is the strategy domino effect. Everything in your life, from your habits to your decisions to your results, they're all in a chain reaction. But the problem is that most of us try to force this chain reaction all at once. Think about it like this. When you watch a line of dominoes fall, where does the most power come from? It doesn't come from that last domino or that middle domino. It comes from that first domino if you correctly position it and then tip it over. And that same logic applies to your goal. So after tracking my own patterns for so many months, I realized that when I had the most clear thinking, that was when everything else in my life skyrocketed. But it wasn't because I was doing more things or harder things or adding more things to my plate. It was only because my decision-making capabilities improved. But the problem was that for so many years, I was trying to fix my decision-making by cramming all of these things and these tasks that would help me. But in reality, it was just adding more stress to an already stressed nervous system. So instead, I asked myself one question to identify my strategic domino. What is making everything else harder right now? It was one simple thing. Me not waking up at the same time every day. Because on those days that I didn't wake up on the same time, it was a chain reaction. I would skip breakfast and then I would overeat at lunch. I would feel too tired to work out. I would make rush decisions in my businesses. I would snap at people I love. I would end up working way too late to catch up. Then I would sleep late. Then I would wake up foggy, and then the whole cycle just deteriorates. But the one domino that led to the negative chain of dominoes was the fact that I'm not sleeping at the same time every day. So the question is, how do you find your own strategy domino? Well, most people will tell you to focus on your goals, but I will tell you to actually look at your frustrations. So for the next 3 days, I want you to document and be hyper aware of where you feel the most overwhelmed or the most chaos or the most scattered. And then work backwards from 2 hours before that feeling and ask yourself what triggered that chaos. Usually you'll be able to spot a trigger point. Maybe it's checking your Slack in the morning before going on your morning walk. Maybe it's that one quick Zoom meeting that turned into 3. Or that 5-minute social media check that turned into 50 minutes. Or saying yes to something when you should have said no. Or skipping meals and then crashing at 3 p.m. So if you fix that trigger, suddenly everything else in your life becomes easier. Everyone will always tell you to pick the hardest things, to do the most things, to do the biggest things. When in reality, the less that you do with more quality, the higher quality your results will be. So now that you've identified your strategic domino, here's where most people go wrong. They try to do too much all at once. And this is where the system of delete, defer, do comes in so handy. So most productivity advice will tell you that you need to start doing, but they're missing the point entirely, because success isn't always about adding more things to your plate. It's actually about strategically moving things off of your plate. Think of your brain like a computer. Right now, you probably have like 50 tabs open. You have the online course that you bought that you haven't even started. You have the gym membership that you're gonna try next week. You have the skills that you wanna learn, the relationships you wanna invest in, the side hustle you wanna begin, the book that you're halfway on, the project that you haven't finished yet. And just like a computer, your brain is slowly grinding to a halt. It's using all of your RAM energy because all of these tabs are open and nothing is moving the needle because you're scattered. There's chaos, there's clutter. And so now, instead of adding more tabs to your plate, we're gonna do something that is forbidden. We're gonna start deleting tabs. If you wanna build more wealth this year, your browser probably has things like start a side hustle, learn about crypto, read 10 finance books, build passive income, pay off debt, start real estate investing, start a passive income source. It's so easy to have all these things and then wonder, where the hell do I start? I'm just overwhelmed, I'm just gonna put it off. And this is what happens. Here's how you use delete, defer, do to help create some regimented system. You can delete the get rich quick schemes, defer adding multiple income streams, and start passive income strategies. One thing that actually prevents money from leaving your account. Maybe it's being aware of your discretionary spending, or maybe it's tracking your expenses for 2 weeks to see where your money leaks. Instead of you trying to become a fitness expert or a financial guru, you're focusing on one strategic move that makes everything else easier. You're not adding more, you're actually subtracting what doesn't matter so you can focus on what does matter. So now comes the most important question, which is what happens when things go wrong? Because of course it will happen, and you know that exact feeling. That day when you skip the workout, you wake up late, you bought Taco Bell, you procrastinated on all your work. This right here, this pattern is where most of us will fail, because it is so easy to fall into that mentality where we feel like one messed up day is one messed up life. We play this goal game like an all or nothing game. And so we keep waiting for all of these magical reset moments, but the truth is that those reset moments don't exist, because all we have control of is today and tomorrow. But here's what I've discovered that's changed everything. My success is not about my execution. It is simply about my recovery time. Think of it like GPS navigation. If you take a wrong turn, your GPS doesn't say game over, start over. Your GPS simply recalibrates, it recalculates, and then it gives you a detour. That same logic applies to your goal achievement. So instead of waiting for the perfect moment to restart, you simply have to give yourself 24 hours. So let's say you break your spending rules and you overspend. Most people would look at that and say, well, I've already went over my budget, might as well overspend for the next 2 weeks and then I'll reset and reassess next month. But we're not gonna do that. With the reset protocol, you have 24 hours. So now you can look at what triggered your spending, you can move your money around to cover it, and then you can make your money decision better. And this is where everything we've talked about comes into full circle. Your strategic domino shows you where to focus, your delete, defer, do keeps you from getting overwhelmed, and then the reset protocol turns your failures into feedback. And that feedback is what leads into your strategic domino. And that cycle becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that helps you stay in momentum for all of your goals. So before we wrap up, I want to give you a simple action plan that you can start with right now. I want you to grab your phone and set out a few reminders. In the morning, ask yourself, what is your strategy domino for today? In the afternoon, ask yourself, what can I delete or defer? So you eliminate mental exhaustion. And then in the evening, I want you to ask yourself, what patterns are you noticing? What triggers are you spotting? Because here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be able to spot where your energy is leaking, where your focus is scattered, where you feel the most overwhelmed. And that hyper self-awareness is what's gonna help you get your goals done this year. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I hope this video was of value to you, and I will see you in my next video.